Good morning. Welcome to AM Prime here on WESN, the content capital. I'm Leanne Jones. It's officially Carnival Week. In just about 7 days, the greatest show on earth hits the streets of Trinidad and Tobago. Can you feel it? The spirit of Carnival is in the air, alive and well, and we're all so excited for it. We have the packed show today, so let me take you through what's coming up on the show this morning. We're going to be talking about Vincy Carnival with the Carnival Development Corporation of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We'll also be talking a bit about the fight against youth and the unique way a soca artist is getting involved to help tackle this issue. Coming up after that, on this Motivational Monday, we have media personality and owner of Increased Media. Her name is Luan John, and she's going to be sharing her story with us. In the second hour, we are going to be speaking with Music TT as they present Lunchtime Jam on the Promenade. More on that coming up later on in the show. But first, let's talk a bit about the Borough Bill. Joining us this morning via Zoom is St. Augustine MP and Member of Opposition, Ms. Khadija Amin. Good morning, Ms. Amin.
Good morning to you, and of course, good morning to all your listeners and viewers this morning.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Now, last Friday, the House of Representatives would have debated the Miscellaneous Provisions Bill for the establishment of the boroughs of Diego Martin and Superior, respectively. The leader of the House of Representatives, adjourned the debate due to the opposition's call for it to be withdrawn or sent to a joint select committee. Now, before we get into the why of this, Ms. Amin, can you break down the Borough Bill for us? What is it, what it seeks to achieve?
The Borough Bill, as the PNM has brought it, as the government has brought it, is very, very simple. What it does is removes the word regional and replaces it with the word borough, where Diego Martin and Superior regions appear in all legislation, including the miscellaneous provisions on local government, the Litter Act, the Dogs Act, and so on, so that all you have is a change of name. There's no change in terms of status, in terms of functioning. There's no change in terms of the boundaries. We have not heard from the PNM in terms of the development objectives for those areas, and so we have concern. The UNC is in support of regional corporations being upgraded to borough status, but we are saying it must not be superficial, it must be meaningful, and it must be with a development objective in mind.
Okay. What are some of the benefits of a regional corporation being upgraded to a borough?
Well, a borough is a small concentrated area of development, and it usually supports commercial activity. For instance, a borough may support education facilities. For instance, in the UK you have Cambridge, and in Trinidad and Tobago you have areas where there's a strong concentration of education institutions. There may be other drivers that would be supported by the regional corporation in terms of services. So, for instance, an area of concentrated commercial activity will have scavenging services, garbage removal, every day, sometimes twice a day, instead of 2 or 3 times per week, as in residential areas. You may have the development, the construction of footpaths on every street. You may have the paving of roads. You have the provision of street lights. In terms of security, you will have street lights and security cameras, so that there is need for intensified construction, roads and drains and bridges and so on. You'd want to reduce flooding. You'd want to manage the public utilities, the water lines, the telephone lines, internet lines, and other utilities in a specific way, because you have a larger volume to provide for. So the provision of these services also have to be regulated. When you have a lot of construction, you must have increased capacity to regulate building codes. So your building inspector department comes in. You will have increased municipal police force because of the traffic and the traffic regulations to be enforced. And the municipal police also plays other roles within the borough. So certainly within a borough, you should have, moving from a regional corporation, an increased capacity in terms of manpower, in terms of equipment, expertise, resources, and the objective of a borough should be to support whatever the economic driver is in that area. I know that previously the UNC had designated the St. Augustine Education City as a concentrated area of education institutions, both secondary and tertiary, where you had projected a growth pole and projected the services to go with it, including improved public transport and physical infrastructure development. And to me, that is what you should be looking at. A borough can be an area within a region. So for instance, Arima Borough is actually surrounded by Tunapuna Piako region. And if you take out the concentrated area and create a borough, the surrounding outlying areas, which would include the rural areas, would continue to be a region, and therefore you would still have that tiered municipal construct where you have cities, boroughs, and regions. So to create an entire region and rename it a borough defeats the purpose, because within those boroughs you will now have areas of concentrated development, but you still have the outlying areas that would fall under the same laws that would not be practical. So for instance, the traffic laws within a built-up area, a city or borough area, will be different to what obtains in a rural area. And therefore the police and even citizens may run into difficulties because it is not suitable. So what obtains in the heart of Tunapuna, for instance, may not obtain in Blanchisseuse on the North Coast. That is also part of Tunapuna. And therefore, if you separate it for administrative purposes and for development purposes, you will have, a more focused development there. And we are saying that is what is required. We don't know what has informed the PNM's decision to create these boroughs. You should have some statistics, you should have data, you should have a development objective that ties in with the national agenda. And we have not seen that. It seems to me that because a local government election is due this year, the PNM having postponed the election last year, they have no achievements to show in local government. And therefore, they are going to create these two boroughs by VAPs and say one for the PNM, one for the UNC, and call that their achievement in local government ahead of a local government election. But we have had no justification for it.
Let's get in a little bit more into the opposition's call for withdrawal of the bill. You say that the opposition is in support of the upgrade of the regional corporations to boroughs, but you would like to see some more definitive measures put in place. Can you tell us a little bit more of that?
Oh, certainly. Well, as it is, because this bill is so poor, what the PNM has, the options they have before them, is that they can completely withdraw the bill, go back to the drawing board and come with something better. The Parliament can send it to a joint select committee of Parliament where you can have consultation with stakeholders, which is very critical. You can have a better input in terms of legally constructing the bill properly, in line with best practices, in line with the current laws in Trinidad and Tobago, and in line with the practical outcome that you are looking for. Or the PNM could use its majority in Parliament and put bad law in place. And it will be up to the UNC when we come in government to fix it, to change it. So those are the three options, as I see it, that are before us at this time. The PNM and the debate quite abruptly. I don't know if that is an indication that they intend to go back to the drawing board. And I say because I come from local government, I want to see regional corporations upgraded to borough status. And so I would like to see something positive come out of this. I would like to see good work go into the legislation to create these boroughs, and that we will have some boroughs being named. It's pretty soon.
Is there any other regional corporation that you prefer? You spoke about St. Augustine being designated in your tenure as educational. Sorry, just tell me how you described it.
Yes, I was the chairman of the Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation in 2010 to 2013. And the Ministry of Tertiary Education, there was a cabinet-appointed committee called the St. Augustine Education City Committee. That was a cabinet-appointed committee, and as the chairman of the regional corporation, I sat on that committee. And it was to make recommendations to cabinet for the formation of the education city. And the committee had identified a concentrated area of education institutions, over 70 tertiary and secondary institutions within, let's talk about, just throw your mind to that Tunapuna area from St. Augustine, including the University of the West Indies, including so many other tertiary education institutions, private education institutions, as well as University of the West Indies, the UTT, and so on. But within that area, you should also have, as research comes out of the university, you should have where you can treat with new business startups, incubation of businesses, trade zones, so that you will encourage innovation, invention, and creation of products to be exported. You should have within those areas proper facilities for pedestrians. You will have local economic development to support the services within that area. You must have good public transportation. You must have facilities to park and ride. You must have footpaths that are properly constructed. You must have well-lit areas, and well-lit areas along with security cameras could lead to a reduction in crime. You must have regulations that are suitable. So for instance, traffic regulations, vending and no vending areas, what is authorized in those areas. It may mean also changing the building codes to allow buildings of a particular height, to allow setbacks to be different from what would obtain in a residential area, or for instance, in an agricultural or rural agricultural area. So that area, that concentrated area that was proposed to be the St. Augustine Education City Committee, to me in the entire Trinidad and Tobago, is actually probably best poised to be the next borough. Because if you look at the population of Siparia and Diego Martin combined, it does not even, the Tunapuna Piako region's population is more than that of Siparia and Diego Martin combined. So if you have to look at the population, if you have to look at the density, all of those things. So we are asking what are the things that the PNM looked at to determine these two boroughs. The other concern, of course, now will be the boundaries, the boundary changes. The PNM has indicated that the boundaries of the Diego Martin and Siparia will not be changed. And because, as I indicated, their borough is usually a concentrated area of targeted development, the size of the electoral district in a regional corporation is usually between 8 and 10,000, and a resident population of around 20 to 25,000. Because you will have people who are living there who are not registered as electors there. In a borough, however, the electorate is usually much smaller. It's usually about 3,000, but you will have a larger transient population. You will have more people who live elsewhere but have employment within the borough, will have conduct businesses, they own businesses, own property, and so you will have a larger transient population to provide support and resources too. So the boroughs, as I say, are usually smaller and they're surrounded by an outlying area that could remain the region. So the Minister of Local Government did emphasize that this bill does not interfere with the boundaries, which is not practical at all. If you are going to create a borough, the Parliament would usually designate the municipalities, and then the EBC would have a role in terms of the boundaries, creating boundaries for each electoral district, following their guidelines and so on. So to me, I believe that bringing this bill and saying now that there will be no boundary changes is just something to make us let down our guard. But eventually, if you are to have an effective borough, you will need changes to the boundaries.
In his presentation in Parliament, the local government minister did state the growing electorate in Diego Martin as well as in Siparia, 88,000 in Diego Martin, 71,000 in Siparia, a growing business sector in Diego Martin, the health centers, the newly refurbished and developed health centers, Defense Force headquarters, and several shopping malls as in Diego Martin, as well as the growing business and agricultural sector in Siparia, inclusive of attractions such as the Pitch Lake, La Divina Pastora Festival, etc. in Siparia, as reasons as to why these regional corporations should be upgraded. He also stated that that both the Diego Martin Corporation as well as the Siparia Corporation passed resolutions as early as 2019 seeking status upgrades to borough status. What more do you think, in your opinion, just before we wrap, do these corporations need, in your opinion, before they should be upgraded to borough status?
Well, everything that the minister identified as being present in Diego Martin is also present in Tunapuna Piako. And in terms of the bounded by the ocean in the north coast, Blanche shares, there is the presence of the Piako International Airport, the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex. There are several major shopping malls. In terms of a commercial center, commercial activities, medical facilities, in terms of commercial development, all of those things are also present in the region of Tunapuna Piako. I'm aware that even before I became chairman in 2010, there were petitions to Parliament from the Tunapuna Corporation as well as the Tunapuna Chamber to create Tunapuna Piako into a borough. If you look at the population in terms of the electorate, and this is data from the last CSO, which was in 2008 or somewhere thereabouts. You had 89,000 population in Diego Martin. You had 72,000 population in Siparia. But the population in Tunapuna Piako was 180,000. That is only in terms of the electorate. And of course, there will be more in terms of the population, the actual population size. So I don't doubt that Siparia and Diego Martin should be made into boroughs so that you will have a development objective of a certain nature. But we are asking, what is the data that supports the creation of the boroughs? And you should look at all regions across the board, look at their population size, look at the how much commercial activity, look at the services that is required to support these and how that would tie into the national agenda. Economic recovery for us at this time is very important. How do you want to support local economic development? How do you want to support manufacturing? If you want to support commercial activities and town centers, these are the things that a borough will support as opposed to a region. But you must also speak about additional resources. Saying that I will give you more money is not at the end of it. You must have consultations with the unions. You must, if you are to expand the workforce, if you are to change the type of work the workers are doing, you must have talks with the representative unions. That has not happened. At present, the workers in the regional corporations are working on 2013 wages. In 2023, 2023. There are workers who are practically homeless because they can no longer meet their living expenses. Are you now going to ask them to do more work on the same salary? So I think the approach to create boroughs is very welcome, but you must do it in a methodological way. You must have a rationale, you must have data to support, and you must have a direction that you are going in terms of your development objectives.
Thank you very much, Ms. Amin, for sharing with us. Thank you for your time. Ms. Khadija Amin, MP for St. Augustine, sharing with us on the opposition's stance on the Borough Bill debated last Friday in Parliament. We'll be back after this short break with Vincy Mas and their Carnival Development Corporation's presence in Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival 2023. More on that when we come back.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime.
A genetic type of hereditary as well, breast cancer,
Right.
which is due to abnormality in the genes. People are born with that abnormality in the gene, and they have that predisposition to developing cancer at an early age.
And a mom and a sister, a strong genetic component in my family for breast cancer. Should I start screening in my 20s? What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Sing for your lover, baby, sing for your lover.
But that is not the song.
That is my version for the Valentine's Day promo on WESN.
WESN presents its Valentine's Day promotion, Sing for Your Lover.
Send us a video of the best rendition of your favorite love song for the one you love. All contestants have a chance to win a variety of exciting prizes. Send us your entries to thecontentcapital@gmail.com. All videos will be posted to our social media pages and will be shown on WESN.
Well, okay then. Let me sing for my lover. Let me sing for my lover.
My lover.
Sponsored by Indus Merchant, Joy Beautiful by Nature, Massage Haven, Sweet Slices, Sweet for You, A.A. Lakis, Rosabella Non-Alcoholic Wine, and Iliada Olive Oil.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Welcome back. Joining us now to discuss Vincy Mas is Mr. Esworth Roberts. He's the Development and Marketing Officer at the Carnival Development Corporation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning, Mr. Roberts.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Vincy Mas 2023. What is the Vincy Mas experience like? For those of us out there who don't know about Vincy Mas, what is the experience like?
Vincy Mas is a carnival that has been taking place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines over a number of years, and our carnival is one that we describe as the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. Our carnival include a number of cultural activities and a number of other parties and events of various various forms. But the cultural elements are organized by the Carnival Development Corporation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It includes steel pan competition, both in junior and senior categories, also calypso and soca, junior and senior categories. And the mass element include competitions in various forms. So we have sections of the bands. We have Junior King and Queen, because we have Junior Carnival. We have King and Queen of the bands, and various other categories and competition when it comes to mass. We also have Juve. We have Juve, and we also have the difference with our carnival, and like, for example, Trinidad and a lot of the other islands. On our carnival Monday, there's no mass on display. In the morning, we have Juve, and in the afternoon, you have a T-shirt band parade. T-shirt band basically is where the masqueraders wear T-shirts, short pants, tights, whatever, sneakers, that type of attire on a carnival Monday afternoon. The T-shirts will display the artistic design of the particular band on the front of the T-shirt, and on the back of the T-shirt, they carry the sponsor's logo. So this really started as an advertising method used by various companies, and we saw the change in that over the years, whereby at one point it was basically companies that were organizing the bands, and then it changed to individuals or promoters starting to do these bands, and they similarly carry the sponsors' logos on the back of the T-shirt. So that's one of the difference with our carnival and carnival for other countries. One of our other carnival highlight is our Soca Monarch. Of course, you know, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are very strong when it comes to soca music. We have been producing great music over the years, and our artists are well known for writing and creating good music. Our producers as well, apart from our artists being good writers and so on, we have excellent producers in St. Vincent, and a number of our producers have been creating music for artists outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we are known to be a strong soca nation. And the Soca Monarch competition is one of the highlights of our Vincy Mass. Of course, you know, our Skinny Fabulous and Problem Child, James P, and a number of our other big artists, they all participated in Soca Monarch at one point or the other. And just like every other Caribbean island, at a certain point, these artists must stop competing. But nevertheless, the other artists who get involved in the competition, they come into this competition and present challenges to the other guys who have been in the competition for quite a while. And we have seen over the years where our Soca Monarch attract thousands of persons because of the type of energy that these artists bring to the stage, and also the energy that the audience, you know, come to the event with as well. It has this vibe, this energy throughout the entire staging of the event. So our Soca Monarch is a spectacular event, and it is one of the major highlights of Vincy Mass.
Now, Vincy Mass 2023 takes place from June 30th to July 11th. And the Carnival Development Corporation is coming to Trinidad and Tobago for Trinidad and Tobago Carnival 2023 for some marketing activities. Tell us some more about that.
Well, some of our marketing activities include activities with various media outlets, television stations, interviews similar to what I'm doing now. We have similar interviews arranged for like newspapers and radio stations as well, and also some street activities where we'll be on Aripita Avenue, and we're gonna have a little booth, a tent, you know, set up there, and we will be doing some promotions of Vincy Mass. So persons can come by, get information, we'll share information with persons, we'll take information and so forth, so we can continue the communication across from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and our return will be able to keep persons up to date with information on Vincy Mass.
And how are preparations coming along thus far for Vincy Mass after 2 years of lockdowns and not being able to have the physical events?
Well, yeah, we were able to host Vincy Mass in 2019, but 2020 and 2021, there were no carnivals in St. Vincent. Of course, you know, we had, apart from the pandemic, we had the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano. And that was the second factor that contributed to us not having carnival in 2021. But in 2022, we were able to host Vincy Mass. And we were the first Caribbean island, first carnival out the blocks after the slowdown of the pandemic. And we basically had a carnival, almost a full carnival. It was not a vaccinated carnival. Initially, when we started planning, we were looking at having a vaccinated carnival. But then eventually the numbers in terms of the number of COVID cases in St. Vincent started to decline steadily. So the authorities granted permission for a full carnival. So we were able to host that carnival. The only thing that we were not able to do, as we usually would have done, was to host the mass component of carnival in its true sense, in its full form. The mass component was reduced in terms of the numbers. There are limited number of persons playing mass, because when we announced the hosting of carnival, there was a short window between the hosting of carnival and the actual execution of the carnival itself. So the mass fraternity didn't have enough time to produce their full band, and we understood that. So we had reduced numbers in mass, and we didn't have any mass competitions at all. It was just a showcase of mass. So they basically presented some costumes for Junior Carnival, presented some for sections of the band, and didn't have any competition whatsoever. This year, however, we'll be doing the full carnival with all aspects of the carnival. All competitions will be hosted.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Before we wrap, tell us where interested persons can get some more information on Vincy Mass 2023.
Yes, Vincy Mass, you can go to our website, www.vincymass.vc. Vincy Mass as one word, www.vincymass.vc. And you can also go to our Instagram page, which is Vincy Mass Vincy_Mass, and our Facebook page is Vincy Mass as one word, as you can see it on the flyer, Vincy Mass. That's what you will get on Facebook.
Thank you.
We have a QR code which would be launched in another day or two, and our QR code will allow for persons, when you scan the QR code, to go straight to the Vincy Mass website, or to go to the Instagram or the Facebook page. So the options will be there once you scan the QR code, and that will be released in another day or two.
Thank you very much, Mr. Esworth Roberts, the Development and Marketing Officer of the Carnival Development Corporation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, here to share with us this morning on Vincy Mass 2023. All the best on your visit here this week. I do hope you enjoy this season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Great.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking about the fight against youth violence when we come back.
Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission advises that it is now a criminal offense to operate, advertise, participate, or invite persons to join a prohibited scheme such as Ponzi and pyramid-type financial arrangements. You can now be fined up to $10 million or face 10 years in prison. Visit our website for more information.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Site, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., only on WESN, Content Capital.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you do now, Andrew.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white, and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
It's a fantastic February at Massage Haven as we celebrate Valentine's Carnival and our 1-year anniversary. For the entire month of February, take advantage of our special packages. For Valentine's, show your love with our Lovebirds and I Just Adore You packages. Carnival, let's help you glow with 20% off on all sauna and massage combos. And as we turn 1 year old, special complimentary Massage Haven tokens of gratitude and keepsakes within our anniversary week. Massage Haven, 157B, Monroe Road, Cunupia.
Welcome back. Super Blue, local soca artist Super Blue, and the Caribbean online children's brand Theatre for Teens, has teamed up to fight against school violence, school and youth violence. Now, they've created a unique solution to school and community-based violence by creating a smartphone music video competition. And it's based on a song that they've collaborated on called Unite. The song encourages people to let we live nice. Joining us this morning are competition judges, Nikisha Ramlal, who is the Trinidad and Tobago judge, as well as Nelia Etienne, and she is the Grenada representative and judge. Welcome and thank you for joining us this morning, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Now, the competition is open to all primary and secondary schools, youth and community groups as well. Yes?
Yes, it is. I think ages 5 to 25.
So tell us a little bit about the competitions and the competition and the roles that you both have as judges.
Okay, so my name is Nikki, and I'm known in Trinidad and Tobago as a social influencer, right? So Stephen reached out to me and he told me about this competition that he wanted to have for this song Unite, and I loved the concept because, you know, these social media, they promote so much negative fighting in schools. You know, somebody's always pulling out a camera to capture something negative, and it's a chance for us to see something positive. Of course, the name of the song is Unite, so that within itself says it all. So we're going to have children from ages 5 to 25 all over the Caribbean islands, you know, come up with a video, whether it be on their tablet, their smartphone, you know, and, you know, make a music video. And then, of course, we as the judges will sit and judge this. The videos will be posted on the website and will be used in the actual video for the song.
And Ms. Etienne, can you tell us about the Grenada's representative?
Hi, my name is Nelia Etienne. I am the Grenadian representative. I like where you put it there. And I mean, likewise, Nikki, when Stephen reached out to me, I felt like I was obligated to assist in this competition because I think it's very important for young people to understand that it's not okay to promote violence. And I feel like social media has grown so much in the last couple of years, actually during COVID, if you want to use that as an example, it has grown so much that I feel like we as adults actually have an obligation to help promote that kind of unity that we want. And when Stephen reached out to me, he basically said, Neela, I'm putting you on this panel to judge this thing. And I said yes, because what Stephen and Tots for Teens, the theatre company stands for, is similar to what my theatre company stands for. And I believe that we just need to encourage and engage young people to help them empower themselves to take action against violence in their communities. And and this is an opportunity that I believe will go viral, because students are going to get the opportunity to make a music video using their smart devices, and of course get their friends to come on board and win fantastic prizes. Who does not love fantastic prizes? I know I do.
Now, Nikki, you spoke about the negative impact on social media on youth these days and how they use it. Tell us, how important do you think it is to use this social media medium, music and Caribbean culture, to counteract the ills of youth and school violence?
I think, you see, the thing is, right, everybody represents something, and I don't think they understand that. They represent their country, they represent their school, and most importantly, we represent ourselves, and we don't stop to think of the things that we're putting out into social media. We never think about digital footprints. We never think about, where is this video going to have me 5 years from now? I'm sitting having an interview, and a person is going to be able to say, oh, you're that person. And that's, a lot of people don't take that into consideration. Too many people are so quick to pull out their phones and, capture the negative moments, because guess what? Negativity sells. Bacchanal sells, confusion sells, fighting sells. Why? So it's time for us to counteract that and show them that positive also sells. Trying to get children to do something in a positive light is something that could work for us. As a Caribbean, as a country, for their school, we want to reflect them in a positive light and show this is what we want to use social media for, as opposed to, and I think it will be very successful as well.
And Neela, how do you feel about the use of social media collaborating with music and the youth for this competition?
Well, it's definitely gonna be impactful. I feel like recently, as Nikki said, there's so much going on social media, and the minute you see something happening, everybody pulls out a cell phone, and nobody really reaches out to help. So I think it's gonna be very, very impactful for the students in Grenada, which of course we're gonna be opening up the competition. Who we are gonna be opening up the competition to? I think they will take that as an opportunity to help with their social media presence, a more positive social media presence, and of course to develop themselves, because there are a lot of students who are into filmmaking and music. And I have students in my community who love music so much, but they don't have that avenue to branch out. And I think this is also going to be a way for them to get that exposure and that experience as well. And you never know who could be looking. Recently in the news, there was this Jamaican student who sang, a song, and his teacher recorded it. And look at what happened. A few years later, and whoa, this is happening to this young man. So we want to have those kinds of influences, and I think this is the opportunity that will definitely do that for our youth in society.
Thank you, Neela. We have a clip of soca artist Super Blue giving us a little more details on the competition. Let's take a look.
It's little things, peewee things, at the same time. What really is missing is little things, peewee things, which make a difference. Things like, hello, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? I'm sorry, I apologize, help, excuse me, forgive me. Little words, little things that can make a big difference.
Now, the competition has been announced from this month. However, it will run from February 6th to April 6th. And then the winners will be announced and prizes will be awarded on April 30th. Tell us a little bit about how persons can enter the competition.
Well,
Toko is here.
Hi, good morning, and I want to say a pleasant good morning to all the persons who will be watching on WESN AM Prime. I am Stephen Edwards, and we have a website that persons could enter the competition. It's www.theunitesong.com. It's www.theunitesong.com. And it's open to all schools, youth groups, anybody that dealing with youth from 5 to 25 years old. It's open for young people all over the world. And, Neela is here as our representative from Greendot. She's also one of the judges. And so we're just very, very excited to have this type of initiative start from Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Mr. Stephen Edwards of Theatre for Tots. He's joining us this morning as well as part of this this competition.
Yes.
The song, as we understand, is also part of a larger animation project. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It's called Why the Fox Lives in London. And it was a project that I did many, many years ago. It started off as a children's play, and we adapted it to an animation pilot episode of some characters. So the characters are like, those animals that we find indigenous in Trinidad and Tobago, like coral snake, agouti, hummingbird. And the story is told by myself, who, if you look on my screen, you will see Toko Tim. Toko Tim is my alter ego that I play as part of the Theatre for Tots to Teens universe. So we have like a type of a Caribbean Sesame Street, if you will, that we are very, very excited about launching. And the whole platform is really designed to teach children manners and morals and that kind of stuff, but within the context of Caribbean, true and authentic Caribbean culture.
Tell us a little bit more of the project on its own, the competition, why this type of competition, and what you hope to achieve.
Okay, well, as part of what I do as Steve Meadows Productions, Theatre for Tots to Teens is what we call the preventative arm. What we do in terms of, as under another program named Transformation Through the Arts and Technology, is we really deal with at-risk youth. And what I have seen coming out of, social media lately, especially from Trinidad and Tobago, I know there are other Caribbean islands, but, we try to start at home. The amount of violence that is so viral. And we are saying that if it is, somebody is taping this violence, somebody is sharing this violence, somebody is glorifying this violence. So if we can use that same mechanism, all right, with it being so widespread, and we take that very, very attitude and potential for it being so viral for something positive, then we'd be able to make an impact not just on the country, but the Caribbean as a whole. So I invited persons, who do different arts and so on, or from all over the Caribbean to participate, with their schools. So it's open to the entire Caribbean, but we have a serious issue in violence in schools here in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's not just going to stop there. We are also working with the community police, right? Because of the work that we would have done before, we'll be training the community police in the transformation through the arts and technology mechanism, so that we would have after-school programs all over the country to stem this quell of violence. Because especially when the girls are concerned, when you hear the fights and you hear the amount of hurt in those girls' voices, the way that they scream, the way that they lash out, you know, it's a social intervention that needs to be done. So this is just a part of a much bigger project.
And tell us a little bit about how the collaboration or the partnership with Super Blue came about.
Well, Super Blue have always worked with us in Theatre for Touch the Teens. So when we teaching kids, right, one of the projects that they have to do is like a music video. And Hello was one of the music videos that they had to do. And he would come and he would perform with the children. And we have struck a relationship. So naturally, when we wanted to do the animation, we wanted to do something a bit Disney style. And so we're saying, if we're going to put in a song that is, you know, Caribbean, the best man to do that is Super. And then when we started making the song and we were in the studio and we saw what was coming out, you know, in addition to what was happening in the schools, we decided that, hey, no, we can take this song and do something so much more with it. And so that is how the, you know, collaboration. I am actually a co-writer of the song. But, you know, really and truly working with Super was one of the best experiences in my life because I really get to see the genius of who he is. You know, we had a very new studio we worked with, well, a studio that I work with all the time, and it was new to him, Music 56 Studios, but it was really good to see new emerging talent work with, you know, experience and, you know, established talent, and what came out of it, I think, was really, really magical.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. We're going to take a listen. We're going to close the interview with a little bit of the song. We want to hear this collaboration. We're very excited to hear it. So thank you very much, Mr. Stephen Edwards of Theatre for Tots to Teens, as well as Ms. Nikisha Ramlal and Neela Etienne, who are judges in the upcoming competition. Thank you very much for your time this morning. We are going to hear a little bit of Unite.
Big style.
Unite. 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 Unite.
Live nice.
Unite.
Live nice.
Unite. Everybody. The power, enjoy the power. 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 The power, enjoy the power.
Yes, the powers of love and unity was meant for you and me. If we live nice, we gonna get by. The hardship and obstacles, like daily troubles, we gonna get by. God will never lie, we gonna get by.
Hey, hey, hey.
If we live nice, joy will multiply.
Unite.
In the name of love,
Unite.
by the powers of
Unite.
our God above.
Unite.
Life in peace and love.
Unite.
Life is a melody.
Unite.
We are the harmony.
Unite.
Life is musically. The power is heavenly.
The power, enjoy the power. 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 The power, enjoy the power.
We have different pages on the same book. Despite how we may look. Once we live nice, we gonna get by. Like a shining star. Thank God for we are. Let we live nice. Like the moon and the sunrise. Let we live nice.
Hey.
You and me.
Hey, hey.
Once we live nice, joy will never die.
Unite.
In the name of love,
Unite.
by the powers of
Unite.
God above,
Unite.
life in peace and love.
Unite.
Life is a melody.
Unite.
We are the harmony.
Unite.
I feel musically.
Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission advises that it is now a criminal offense to operate, advertise, participate, or invite persons to join a prohibited scheme such as Ponzi and pyramid-type financial arrangements. You can now be fined up to $10 million or face 10 years in prison. Visit our website for more information.
I am Rondell Donowa, attorney at law and host of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Strictly Legal is a legal program geared towards informing you, the public, of your legal rights, responsibilities, and remedies. So be viewing Thursdays 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered,
the conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us here on AM Prime. Now, it's Motivational Mondays here. So we have this morning in our Motivational Monday segment, charting her way forward, one frequency at a time, Miss Luan John, media personality and owner of Increase Media. She's joining us via telephone this morning. Good morning, Ms. John.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you and good morning to all your listeners.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Today is World Radio Day.
Yes.
Tell us, how are you celebrating World Radio Day today?
Well, you know, this is down my alley. Radio is a passion of mine, and I've been involved in radio for the past 20 years or so. And this year's theme for World Radio Day is Radio and Peace. So I'm incorporating the themes of peace within all the projects that I'm doing with my company this year. And I think it's so fitting, that theme, given everything that's happening in our world today.
Now, it can be argued that radio is a dying medium. With the advent of technology, we have podcasts, we have social media, we have so many other avenues for communication. Tell us, what, in your opinion, is the importance of radio in today's society?
Yeah, I think radio has a vital place in society, and I wouldn't say it's dying. I would say that radio is evolving. So all these things, podcasts and online radio, internet radio, etc., all these are offshoots of radio. So radio is evolving, but the fabric of radio itself stands very strong and still has a very vital place in society today. Radio is that local content, local audio content that is needed. The difference between FM radio and all the other platforms that are available today is that the other platforms speak to a global audience, but your FM radio speaks to you right where you are in your local, your country, your community, and it gives a sense of community. So it has a very vital role, I believe, in keeping that sense of community.
Tell us a bit about your school, Increased Media. How did Increased Media come about?
Sure. Increased Media started, in fact, this year in March, we're celebrating 10 years of service to Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the region. Increased Media is a broadcasting school, and we offer certified courses in radio broadcasting, advanced radio broadcasting, voice acting, and we're the only providers that I'm aware of in Trinidad and in the region. And we also offer public speaking courses. So we've been doing that for the past 10 years. It came about because I had returned to Trinidad in 2012, and I was working on radio. And I found like there was a gap in the market. A lot of people were asking, "Oh, how do I get on radio? Where do I do my course? What do I do?" And there were places that were offering fabulous courses, but there were like maybe one or two. So I felt like there was a need to open up that availability for study in the area of media here in Trinidad. And I started with my first course, radio broadcasting and public speaking, back in 2013, and the response was amazing, and I just have been continuing over the years.
Oh, thank you. And tell us a bit about Occupy Conference.
Right, so as I said, we are in our 10-year of celebration this year, March. It'll be 10 years that Increased Media has been serviced. And we are, I like to use the word evolving. So we're evolving, and that evolvement includes a rebrand from Increased Media to Occupy. And Occupy will be offering some of the same things that Increased Media offers, which are certified courses in radio broadcasting, public speaking, and voice acting. But we're opening up our platform now to be able to offer much more. We're going to be doing international conferences in the area of media, again, to serve the region. And we're also going to be offering certifications. So for persons who are ready to serve through their courses in media and desirous of certification, we're going to be offering that from March. So we're pretty excited about that.
So tell us a little bit more of your vision for Occupy conference for the rest of
my
this year.
vision for Occupy moving forward within the next decade and even beyond is really to bridge the gap here in the Caribbean region with the outside world, even Hollywood, and just all the opportunities that are available in the world. So I really want to bridge the gap. I want to elevate the quality of training in media and acting and that entertainment field to the standard and the quality where we will be considered when it comes to work in entertainment on the international platform, where we can stand neck and neck with the quality of work and talent that's needed on the international scene. So I want to be able to bridge that gap through education. So that's training in media, arts, and entertainment.
Now, Ms. John, you've been in this industry for approximately 20 years, you said. Tell us a little bit about your time in the industry, the challenges you may have faced, and how you've gotten to where you are today.
Wow, okay, so let me throw my mind back. I remember right out of high school many years ago, I heard about a broadcasting course, and I was fascinated immediately by that. But if I can go even further back, I think my fascination started with the broadcasting programs that we used to hear in primary school. So in primary school, we would have those broadcasting programs for students, and I would be a part of, I would listen into that, and I think my fascination started there. And I also loved reading, and I had a desire to be on air and on screen, reading news and things like that. So it started quite young. I was pretty clear with what I wanted to do. And then when I left high school, I heard about a broadcasting course. I did that course. That course also impacted me a lot because it's because of that course I realized that I could also offer courses. So I did that course, and then I did some volunteer work at a radio station many years ago, and that's how I got my foot in the door. And over the years, I remained diligent in that volunteer position because I was really determined it's what I wanted, and eventually the doors opened up in that particular radio station for me. However, I found that I wanted to develop myself more, and I didn't see the opportunities here in Trinidad to develop educationally within media, so I had to leave the country. So that was one of the challenges that I faced in terms of my personal development in the area of media. So, of course, I left the country, studied media and television, did radio and TV in the UK, and returned home in 2012. And I felt the need to share my experiences and my knowledge through, of course, increased media. So that's a little bit of my journey there in a nutshell.
Well, congratulations on your company's 10th year anniversary.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And congratulations also on the rebranding to Occupy Limited.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us
Thank you.
what keeps you motivated to keep educating?
Yeah, I love that question. I think it's the fact that I always get approached by persons who have a dream of getting into media, radio, and television. And I remember being that person many years ago with an insatiable desire to get on air and to work on television and just to be a part of the media industry. So every time someone approaches me with that desire and wondering how they can move forward, I remember myself at that stage, and I feel compelled to share my knowledge of the steps and how to do this and what to do and how to get into the industry. And I do find that the information is not readily available in terms of how to get into the industry properly. So there are many ways you can get in, but there is a right way, so there is a way that things should be done. So I love sharing that information with people who have that desire and that passion, because it definitely reminds me of myself and my journey and where I started, and I'm always willing and ready to help and share.
Thank you very much, Ms. Luann John, owner of Increase Media, now Occupy Limited, and media personality, Luann John, sharing with us this morning on our Motivational Monday segment. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and we have more AM Prime coming up after.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Sight, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. only on WESN, Content Capital.
Welcome back. Joining us via Zoom this morning, we have General Manager of Music TT, Melissa Jimenez, and she's here to tell us about Lunchtime Jam on the Promenade this Wednesday. Good morning, Ms. Jimenez.
Hey, good morning.
Tell us a little bit about the upcoming Lunchtime Jam this Wednesday.
Well, it will be held on the promenade by the stage area. You can find a lot of your local acts, and of course, no LMD event, live music district event, is complete without a steel band. So for our lineup, we have the police, TTPS Police Steel Band. We have performances by Viking Ding Dong, Olatunji, Lil Bitch, GI, and two of our spotlight artists. So this is happening on the 15th of February from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Yes, it's only an hour. So as the name suggests, bring your lunch and come.
Thank you. And is there a cost to the event?
Absolutely not.
Okay. The work that Music TT does, tell us a little bit more about Spotlight, from Music TT, sorry.
So Music TT is a state agency under the Ministry of Trade and Industry. As for Spotlight, Spotlight is a training program where we upskill selected artists. Those artists go through a very rigorous process for about 9 months. And at the end of it, basically, their project is to produce a single.
So the last cohort that we had showcased their final project last year, September. And this year, because Music TT is going through, an amalgamation with some other companies, we've decided that we will not take in a group this year, but we will promote the last 3 albums, Project Spotlight 1, 2, and 3, that we have, invested so much time and effort and money into it. So, yeah, that will be our efforts for this year to promote those 3 albums.
Okay, and tell us a little bit more about Music TT's Live Music District events. What events we can look forward to for the rest of 2023?
So this is actually the last event for the Live Music District for fiscal 23. That is open to the public, let me say that, because outside of this, we actually have partnered with the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, and we are helping to entertain the cruise ship passengers that are arriving. So upon their return to the vessel, which is in the afternoon, usually around 3 to 5 p.m. there, we do have local acts there that will be performing indigenous music, indigenous genres to us. So yeah, they're thoroughly entertained. The artists love it because, they get to make some US dollars as well, additional from the tourists. So yeah, it's going really, really well. And the cruise ship season ends in April, thereabout. So yeah, we're carrying on the Live Music District till then.
Thank you. Tell us, Ms. Jimenez, how has it been working with the creative TT, with the music company of Trinidad and Tobago? How has it been working with the artists and influencing their experiences and their journey?
So this is my work anniversary actually happened a few days ago, and I only know that because LinkedIn reminded me. So I've been with Music TT for about 4 years, and I enjoy what I do. As for working with the artists, I am not going to tell you it is all sugars and roses and happy faces. Sometimes it feels more like you're a mama bear trying to rein everybody in a lot of the time, and get them to see, get them to understand certain things and concepts that they need to grasp. So luckily, I do love to educate. So my team and I work really, really hard in all of the projects that we do to make sure that, the messages get across. And to much to our delight, a lot of persons are taking heed. They are dotting their I's and crossing their T's when it comes to a lot of their work. And I think Trinidad and Tobago is seeing the fruits of that labor. We're venturing into new spheres and looking at new things and setting up businesses properly, most importantly, where artists are concerned or creatives on the whole are concerned. So I think we're doing a lot in the right direction to help where we can.
Now, you've said that this carnival going into the cruise ship season after April would be the last of the Live Music District's presentations for the fiscal 2023. What then would be the role and function of Music TT going forward for the rest of the year, and what can we expect from Music TT?
Absolutely. So after this, we are very excited to be focusing on our 3rd Reverb conference. So you'll see a lot of messaging starting to come out very soon about the Reverb conference for this year and the theme and the save the dates, etc. So that is happening the 5th to the 7th of July, and it's going to be a hybrid event this time. So we started it 2 years ago.
and it was just in the virtual realm. And it actually exceeded all of our expectations, especially in terms of the demand and attendance. So we were expecting like maybe 3,000 persons online or something like that. And in the first year, we got close to 33,000 persons from all over the world, over 20 countries, just attending and viewing the Reverb conference. And the same thing happened last year. So this year, seeing that it's hybrid, we're looking to see, how will that translate and how many people will be impacted. I'm not going to sell out the theme or anything for that. You have to keep locked on to Music TT socials to make sure you get that information. And we will have some very special guests joining us for that as well. So without saying too much about it, log on to Music TT socials as well as our website, which is www.musictt.co.tt. So that's musictt.co.tt, and all of the information will be there. The last 2 reverbs are available on our website to view. So if you want to see what the content is like, you can hop on and check that out.
Brings me to my next question. I was just about to ask, for those who do not or not familiar with Reverb, just give us a little summary about what Reverb is.
So we focus on music business. Don't ask me to remember the 2 themes from the theme from last year and the year before. I will not. But yeah, so we choose a topic that is hot within music business, and we have discussions around it. It is a mixture of panel discussions as well as interviews with a lot of major companies. So far we've had Music Ally based out of the UK. We've had Music Business Association. We've had TikTok join us for sessions as well. Audio Mac. So we've had a lot of international companies that had interest in the Reverb experience and being there and making sure that their presence is there. And people understand that, they can come to them as well as a resource while building their career. So it's been very, very fruitful for the information. I know TikTok was a big thing for persons. When that happened, that was like one of the most subscribed to panel sessions that we've had. But yeah, so again, without selling out what's happening this year, you got a lot going and see.
Very excited to hear more about the upcoming Reverb. Well, we are going to just remind you very quickly about Lunchtime Jam. It's happening this Wednesday, 15th at the Brian Lara Promenade, with performances by GI, Viking Ding Dong, Ulatunji, Little Bits, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Steel Band, and a lot more. Thank you very much to Ms. Melissa Jimenez, the General Manager of Music TT. Thanks for joining us this morning and sharing.
Thank you for having me.
All the best for your event this Wednesday.
Thank you.
We're heading to our Watch This segment next. Last Saturday, all eyes were on Calypso Fiesta as it returned to its home, Skinner Park in San Fernando. Here's a clip from the event.
Welcome back to Skinner Park in San Fernando, Calypso Fiesta 2023, the Calypso Monarch semi-finals. Of course, this is the biggest platform for Calypso music in the world, ladies and gentlemen, and we're happy to bring it to you live. Up next, at position number 16, we have Mr. Sean Daniel, who's better known as the Psalmist, and the name of the song is Lost and Found. Let's head stateside for Sean Daniel.
This one for my late wife. Blessings to you, Skinner Park. Coping with any loss, the challenge can be awesome on life's winding road. The fallout and the course can spell weakness or wisdom as you bear the load. You need spiritual strength to help with sudden disaster. as laid down in the famous book of Job in scripture. When your life's out of tune, it's your God-given cocoon. Makes a butterfly emerge to fly you to the moon. Maya Angelou, great poet, activist too. She was raped as a toddler, took 5 years before she spoke one word. Left on a train, her parents were divorced. To the wide world, she was tossed. She found poetry and dance, that was her life's code. Yeah. The Calypso Queen of Africa's West Coast. You know she worked for Malcolm X. US President inauguration, the first black woman got selected. She won 3 Grammy Awards, was hired by Martin Luther King. Sold 5 million copies of her book, Why the Caged Bird Sings. Hey, so what is your loss? What hurdles you have to cross? Yeah, you got to come out of that pity party, get back on track. Cause when you pressure carbon, it does turn to diamond. Raise your head, dig deep, and bounce back. Skinner Park, raise your head, dig deep, and bounce back. Hey, you're looking good, boy. World famous Ray Charles watched his only brother drown. Yes, he nearly died with fright. It was paradoxical. He would soon hit the darkness. He would lose his sight. Yeah, but by age 7, he typed 75 words a minute. Yeah, and by 15, added piano to his credit. Hey. He crossed over to the secular world with songs of spirit and soul. Gave us Grammy after Grammy on his honor roll. Muhammad Ali came to grief, lost his bicycle to a thief, and found boxing to confront the thief. We are told, hey, D.L. Moody, a preacher, a ship sank with his wife and 4 daughters. While sailing where they drowned, he composed, "It is well with my soul." Mandela lost 27 years inside 2 prisons opposing race, but found the key to unlock apartheid, keys to the presidential palace. Christ Jesus went to Calvary, gave up his life for humanity, so salvation may be found by each and everybody. Hey, so what is your loss? What hurdles you got to cross? Yeah, you got to come out of that pity party, get back on track. Hey, cause when the pressure carbon, hey, it does turn to diamond. I say raise your head, dig deep, and bounce back. Trinbago, raise your head, dig deep, and bounce back. Hey, hey, hey,
Fiesta held at Skinner Park. 11 finalists make their way to the Calypso Monarch Finals this weekend in their bid to dethrone reigning monarch Terry Ann Lyons. That's how we wrap things up this morning. Be sure to look out for Keaton and Sean. They're coming up at the top of the hour with Talking Point. Check us out on all our socials at WESNCC. And to get in touch with us, you can email us at amprimewesn@gmail.com. I'm Leah Ann Jones. Enjoy your Monday and do have a productive day. See you again tomorrow.
WESN. It resisted. And thank God we have no victims.